Hey everybody, Jerome Maldonado. We're back and we're talking about real estate. But not only are we talking about real estate, we're talking about the Edd Fund and Edd unemployment. What is it? What is EDD? It is the Employment Development Department. And so the unemployment benefits that everything's happening through with the stimulus package and all these bills is what EDD is. And it's huge right now. And so with real estate, I talk about this because I've been talking about mass distress in the market. I've been talking about how the pandemic has affected us in so many ways. This stuff hasn't even unfolded entirely. And I don't think we're going to see this stuff truly unfold until September, because we keep getting these extensions. They're talking about, the Biden administration is talking about extending this benefit programs through EDD, through the Employment Development Department, all the way through September. And so the sounds of it sounds really good, but what's already happening is we're already getting affected by this, right? And so we're going to start seeing foreclosures because of the moratoriums and people not being able, the rent moratoriums and people not being able to get evicted out of houses, and people are, even the owners of like single family homes that are renting them are getting affected by this. And people don't realize this, but if you own a home, and let's say that you have a mixed family, had two homes, mixed family takes one, rents the other, and they still have a mortgage payment on this home, which a lot of real estate investors aren't super financially affluent. They may have one or two rental homes that they've leveraged through mortgages. I know a couple of my students that work directly with me. They go in, they buy these properties, they lease them, and they lease them for just a few $100s over what they pay each month. And now, if for some reason they have a tenant in their property that stops paying rent, and they say, hey, we know that you have mortgage payments all the way through September, but this person doesn't have to pay you rent. And even if you have more, you can exercise the moratoriums on your payment yourself because you're in distress. That doesn't mean you get forgiveness. You can't evict these people. That means that these people never have to pay you. They can go all the way through September, never pay you rent. And at the end of this, you may not have to pay your mortgage till September if you qualify for the moratorium extension, but you still owe that money to the bank. They don't forgive that money that tenant hasn't paid you, and you cannot evict them based on the rules and regulations of these through these forbearances and these moratoriums. So they stay on your property. You land up owing all this money on the back end of your mortgage. And not only do you owe all this money on the back end of your mortgage, if you decide to sell, you have all that stuff comes to the front end and has to get paid to resolve the back debt through these. And that's what people don't realize, is that money is not yours. It's not free money. It's not just being forgiven. You owe this money on the back end of everything that you're doing. So what's happening right now is that people are coming in, they're asking, okay, how long does it take to get my benefits? And people right now are not even getting their benefits in time. It's taking forever. They can't even get a hold of the EDD to get in contact with somebody. They'll sit on hold for hours upon hours of time and not hear from anybody. And they'll come back in and tell you, hit us up online and we'll get back to you. Now, who qualifies for this stuff? Well, anybody who's unemployed qualifies for it. If you've taken a hit with hours and you can get what's called partial unemployment. So you need to apply for it as well, because if you were working 40 hours, your employer put you down to 20 hours, you can get 50% of your unemployment based on the loss of hours that you were working. And you do qualify for the $600 and $300 stimulus bill packages that the Trump administration signed and that Biden has also agreed to. Now, the big problem is the timeline that it's taking. So these people, their benefits have run out. They haven't found employment. Now they're going out and they're reapplying for this, and they're asking, how long will it take for me to get my benefits? And there's no answer. I've been looking through everywhere and no one wants to give an answer to this. All I know is that people are waiting weeks on end to get their benefits and they're not doing it, especially in the state of California. And that's where it's been a big deal. And it's not so much the fault of the municipality. What happened is that Congress drug their feet, and then in the last minute they approved it, and the states had already relinquished some of these benefits to these people because their benefit programs had run out. And so what's happening now is that all these states have to reset up all the software. They have to get things back up and going. And so don't yell at your local state officials and the people that you're dealing with at the unemployment office that are dealing with EDD. They're just doing everything in their power, and they've been put between a rock and a hard place trying to get their programs and their systems back up and running to be able to facilitate this, and it's just been overwhelming nationwide. Okay? States with larger populations like Texas and California are being affected with it more widely because of how many people are applying for it. And so you just be patient with them. Now, one of the big issues that's happening that most people are not even aware of is that the big financial institutions like Bank of America are halting and freezing people's accounts until they do personal verification of their accounts. So even though it's electronically put in their accounts, Bank of America is halting this. So not only are people waiting for the municipalities to go in and facilitate the unemployment and get all of their systems set back up in place, but then they have Bank of America is coming in. Bank of America being one of the largest that this is happening with. There's other large financial institutions that are doing this exact same thing, but they want to verify who you are, and so they halt your funds. So now you're weeks on end into waiting for the EDD funds to be distributed. Then once they're distributed, the financial institutions are halting them until you go in and verify, which puts days, if not weeks, of additional time that these people have to wait for their money. So what does this do to the rest of the economy? Because money rolls downhill, right? There's a trickle effect on how our economics continue revolving for groceries, for furniture, for housing, for supplies, home goods, clothing. Everything revolves on the revolution of finances through people. So if we have 16 million people across the United States that are taking advantage of these benefit programs, that's 16 million people that this is being affected by this. What does that do to all the merchants and all the revolution of cash that's happening nationwide? Now, we'll see the long-term effects as this unveils and unrolls into September, provided that there's no more extensions. And you know, the extension now is because all of the stuff that's happening medical-wise with the vaccines is taking weeks and months for enough availability and people to be able to go in there and get their shots and get the vaccine for coronavirus. Plus, there's a lot of research and development that's still going on. You need two shots for it to work correctly according to scientific research right now. And is there enough scientific research that even supports that? And so how long is this really going to take before we get back to it? And is our federal government going to continue bailing people out? And one of my big questions was, how many weeks of benefits are these people getting? And so under the normal unemployment benefit program, it's approximately 26 weeks, right? Well, the CARES Act increased that by 13 weeks. So now people, based on different programs and different bailout programs and relief funds that have been put in place, people qualify from anywhere between 39 weeks and 59 weeks of unemployment, which is a long time. Now, I know none of you guys grew up in my household with my mom and my dad as I was growing up. But see, when you come from a family that doesn't come from a lot of financial lucrativeness, where I have a mom who had 12 brothers and sisters, lost a father at a very young age, and a father who came from a very poor, non-affluent family, and they worked their asses off to go out there and create something out of nothing, literally from nothing. And they created greatness for us, in my opinion. You know, my mom and dad worked their tails off to go from working from factory workers and grocery stores to get an education, become an accountant, and my mom running nonprofit organizations, and have done well for us. They put us through private school. We weren't wealthy, but we were middle class. But in our family, we were taught, if you want to work, there's work out there. And you may sit back, and I know there's circumstances beyond that, but I'm talking about the mass majority of people. I'm sitting there going, look, guys, come on. As Americans, we have a duty to get off our ass and go to work. And so I'll sit here and I'll tell people, you need to be a part of that. Because I know, like even my companies, I've had the hardest time in the last 2 years finding qualified help. I've even settled for unqualified help that we're willing to train for them, and we can't get people even answering a call on the phone. Why? Because all this bullshit stimulus money is keeping people on their couches. And whether you like it or not, I'm going to talk in truth, because there's employers out there right now. I have colleagues that are looking for good employees. I'm looking for good employees, and we can't find them because they're not calling, because there's too much money out for grabs and too much freebies. That's communism, ladies and gentlemen. When your federal government pays you to live, that's communism. Because now not only they pay you, they can tell you how to live and what to do and how to do it. You know, I remember when I was 16 years old, my mom said, as long as you live under our roof, under our money, you're going to live on. As long as you live under our roof and we're paying for you to live, you're going to live by our rules. And the day you decide you don't want to live by our rules, you can go out and figure it out yourself, and you pay your way. So guess what I did at the age of, right when I turned 18? I moved out, and I never came back. I had to go out and figure life out. And ladies and gentlemen, man up. It's time to go out there. There are jobs out there. And with the exception of some people that maybe the same level of employment is not available, that's who these programs are built for the people who are truly affected. And there are people. But what if we could take that 16 million Americans and take it down to 10 million Americans, and 6 million of you get off your ass and get back to work? We need you. Look, here's what they're not telling you guys. And here's how our real estate market and our economics are continuing to get affected by what's happening out here. So they're sending you people these checks, and what's happening is the federal government is not taxing these checks that are going out to you. Now, back in the 70s, they didn't used to tax unemployment benefits. And then in the 80s, they started partially taxing unemployment benefits. But then now, they're fully taxed. So based on your tax bracket and what you made this in 2020, you're going to get your full tax bracket of taxable income on your unemployment checks. And so thousands upon thousands of people that aren't expecting it, and millions upon millions of Americans are going to get an unexpected tax bill this year. So they're going to go, you see the guy, the little Liberty tax person on the side of the road with their sign, spinning their sign. When you go in those places, you go to H&R Block, you sit down on Intuit in QuickBooks, you go to your local mom and pop CPA to do your taxes for you, guess what? You're going to have an unexpected tax bill. All of you people, you 16 million Americans that are seeking unemployment, the 6.7% of our national population here that are on unemployment, you're going to get an unexpected tax bill this year because your unemployment benefits have not been taxed. Most Americans are not aware of this and how they're going to be affected by this. And what this is going to do is it's going to put additional debt on U.S. Americans' tables that they're not even expecting, because the mass majority of people that are seeking unemployment don't even realize that they're getting that tax bill. And that's going to be a double whammy for people. People that have been financially distressed, can't put food on their table, and are in need of these unemployment benefits are now going to get taxed upon them that they're not expecting. What's that going to do after all these moratoriums expire? They haven't paid rent. Their mortgages that haven't been paid. Now you owe debt to the IRS, to the man. The big man with a big U.S. hat. What happens? More distress, more financial distress. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I can't fix the stupidity of people in our governments, and I can't fix the stupidity of people that aren't going to work. But what I can tell you, for those of you who are motivated out there and want to get to work and you want to take advantage of this, I continue every single day. I say in times of distress, there is opportunity. When there are times of financial distress, there is mass opportunity. The question is, will you take advantage of it? And so foreclosure rates will increase by the end of 2021, moving into 2022. For short sales will increase in real estate. The opportunities are going to be here. They're unfolding right in front of us. I just got back from Chicago, and I just heard some of the most eye-opening things that are happening in local and small municipalities, in the hospitality industry, and businesses and offices right under our nose that we don't even see and realize each and every day unless you're living and breathing it, which very few Americans are. But the mass distress is real. The financial and economic distress from this pandemic is bigger than the virus itself. The question is, how are you going to position yourself to take advantage of it? And are you going to be affected by the EDD and unemployment bailouts and so forth, or are you going to go to work and get back to taking advantage of opportunities that exist in our world today? The question is out there. The decision is yours. Look, my name is Jerome Maldonado, and everything that I do talks about how to succeed in real estate and how to take advantage and position yourself correctly in times of distress. For more content just like this, give us a big fat thumbs up if you like this content, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we look forward to seeing you on the other side.